All right, so let's go ahead and look at our Edit Project screen. There are quite a few changes that have been made in this area, most of which has been done to speed up the process, to eliminate clutter, and for it just to make more sense when it comes to working through a large number of images. What I'm going to do first here is you can see all of these images are rotated on their sides, so I want to rotate them all up. So I'm just going to do a Command A, or if you're on a PC, it'd be Control A, and rotate them all so they're heads up. Okay, so they all look good here. And also, I selected all by doing a Command A. They're still selected. If I come down here and grab this scroll bar tab, you can see they're all still selected, but I don't want to have to reassure myself every time by doing that. If we look in the status bar down below, it tells me that there are 439 images in this project. There are 343 subjects. That means there's 343 subject IDs because there are multiple images of a lot of these subjects. And I've got 439 selected, which matches the total number of images. Nothing's in the recycle bin, and it also tells me what the package group is that's associated to this particular project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clear that selection, and let's just kind of look at some of the things here. The fields underneath the images themselves, you'll notice that we've got packages, last name, first name, grade, teacher, student ID, position, school name, and year. In the case of school projects, the standard data that you're going to have and you're going to want to have is last name, first name, grade, teacher, and student ID. So what we do is we bring the data in that sequence when we set up these fields. And then the other ones that are part of the CSV data file that was imported in will just follow alphabetically. Okay, so again, it makes it a little easier. It's one less thing that hopefully you have to do as far as rearranging fields. But if it's necessary to rearrange fields, you can just click on one, right-click, and then drag it down to another position. Okay, you can move it back up. So all of these you can move around. I can right-click on one of these and say Hide. I can right-click on it and say Rename. And since school name is a fixed or locked field, I can't just rename it, but I can select to associate it to a different value. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rename that or associate it back to school name real quick here. Let me find that. And I can also do that by hitting my S key. There's my school name. And you'll see it's red. And if I come back in here and click Add, and there's year, and that's because there's data associated to that particular project. Okay, so I'm going to bring that back in. It's all part of the package group setup, which was year, was part of one of the templates in there. So back into Add Fields, if I needed to add something, I can very easily. So if I needed to add, let's say, team name, or maybe I needed to add homeroom, I can come in here and find homeroom, select, and now I've added that in. Or I can choose to hide it. So those fields are, you can move them around, you can hide them, you can reposition them however you like. So that's a little easier than what it was beforehand. The other thing is I want to make you aware of the way you can navigate through the actual project. Obviously, we've got this scroll bar down at the bottom. And you can see it's real responsive as far as moving through a lot of images. There are two different cameras in here imported, so I can come up to my camera dialog and elect to see just my BD1 images. So it shows me I'm only looking at 238 now. Or if I want to, I can click on Show All, and I'm back viewing all the images in the project. Okay? But one thing, if you'll come up to this navigational menu option here, and it'll show you what the actual shortcut keys are for moving through the project efficiently. So what I can do is, in this case, hold down my Command key and my right arrow, and that'll move me a page at a time. Or if I just, my right arrow, just go one subject image at a time. Okay? That sort of thing. So it's easy to move through. I've got this navigational toolbar down here that I can use too. It's just based upon whatever's easiest for you all to move through here. And again, that's the idea, is to kind of try to set it up so however you're workflow needs are, we can meet those needs with the options we have available in the software itself. We talked about the status bar down at the bottom. The other thing I want to show you is you'll see here we have icons across the top that are basically what we refer to as the image action toolbar. But these can be accessed in several different ways. I can right-click, and I've got the same options here in this right-click menu that I see across here. And if I come underneath my Edit menu option, there's the same options there too, plus some other ones. But you can see you can access them in several different ways, again, hoping to take care of your workflow needs and where you're comfortable in right-clicking and not right-clicking and finding things. So we'll go ahead and close those out there. I can, the other thing to keep in mind is I can select an image, right-click, send it to the recycle bin. Now it shows me there's one image in the recycle bin. If I go to Show Recycled, there's that one image. I can right-click to restore it if I want, but I can't easily permanently delete it. And we've done that on purpose because we want you to come up here and permanently delete from this menu option to make it a little bit more difficult for somebody to accidentally permanently delete something. The way you get out of the deleted view is just go ahead and click on Show Active, and we're right back to where we were before. It's much easier to select a range of images by holding down the Shift key, and I've selected a range of images, and now I can right-click, and I have all these menu options that I can use for these images that are selected. You couldn't do this in Easy Event 8, so I can tag all these images, okay? Or I can come up here and untag them from this menu option. I can right-click and edit a field value, come up here, right-click, edit this field value, and let's say I want to edit my packages field, and I can put in a value of whatever I want that package to be, hit OK, and it populates them all with the package F. All right? I can also do that by selecting a range of images here and edit my field value. If it makes more sense for me to go up and grab the icons from up above, I can do that too. It's just whatever suits your workflow needs. Okay? The other thing too, when you work through the actual fields underneath the images, think of working in Excel. So you can use your tab key to move across and then do a shift tab to move back. You can do your enter key to move down and keep going through, and then tab over and shift key to tab back, that sort of thing. So it's very much like Excel. Once you get comfortable with it, hopefully those keystrokes will become second nature, and it'll be very easy for you to work through managing data and editing the data itself, that sort of thing. The other thing I want to look at here is we have what we refer to now is we have some actual toolbars that you can move around and reposition according to your needs. If we come up here to this Show Hide menu option up above, there are 4 toolbars. Navigational, I'll just hide them as we go along here, which is down at the bottom. Images Action toolbar, which was the icons across the top. The Sort Filter toolbar, which is the sort view for the actual project as we're viewing the images. And then over here on the very right, the Filter toolbar. Okay, so I can remove all of those, and I can elect to show which ones I want and which ones I don't. Okay, the other thing too with these, I'll bring all those back in, is I can now move these around based upon how I want to set up my my workspace. So I can grab that by grabbing a hold of the textured little grab bar across the top. Allows me to move this around, and if it makes more sense for me to have my Images Action toolbar underneath, I can put it right there. So then I can work through it like this. Okay. Now if I want to put those back into place, very easily select the little grab area, move it over to the right, and you'll see it becomes highlighted in red, meaning it's ready to be repositioned. Same thing here. Bring it up to the top, and I can reposition everything the way it was that I started with initially.